Hello, welcome to your February Tarot Forecast videos. I want to share 3 distinct points about the energy of February itself before I start in on the readings. I'm going to take a few minutes with this intro, so if you wish you can skip ahead to where I begin actually pulling cards. I'll go ahead and put a time indication in the description box if you want to do that. First, I want to begin by stating the obvious, which is that we collectively recognize January 1st as the day that rings in the new year on the calendar. However, the beginning of February is when we actually truly enter a fresh new energy cycle. That is the real new year energetically. A lot of January was spent tying up loose ends of 2016, and this is because we entered the new year in January 2017, mid-cycle of a Mercury retrograde. This is not conducive to forward movement. Rather, it's a time to chill, reflect, and plan your next steps, and not take action to commence new things quite yet. Mercury went direct on January 8th and doesn't move out of its shadow for approximately 2 weeks after it goes direct. This means that if New Year's resolutions were started in January, they are not likely to endure and those plans will tend to unravel. Any resolutions for change that you want to implement in order to yield more permanent results would be more auspicious if began at the end of the month when the mercurial energy begins to pick up speed. Coincidentally, this is around the same time of the start of the Chinese New Year, which begins January 28th. And that brings me to my second point, which is sharing a little bit about this year being marked as the Yin Fire Rooster. 2016 was the Yang Fire Monkey. Yang energy is masculine, extroverted, and outwardly expressive. Fire is dynamic, changing, passionate, and all-consuming. The monkey is playful, chaotic, impulsive, adaptable, and clever, but not necessarily honest. Observing the way that monkeys behave will give you an indication of the characteristics they exhibit and how a lot of 2016 played out for us. So again, 2017 is the year of the Yin Fire Rooster. Much like last year, fire will mark the next 12 months as blazing, dynamic, and assertive energy. However, Yin energy is feminine, introverted, insightful, and inwardly receptive. So a lot of us will be tapping into our inherent reserves of strength and realizing our inner passions this year. There is a strong theme here of self-reliance. The rooster quality is confident, if not somewhat boastful, as it proudly sticks out its chest and fans its feathers. Roosters are notably guided by instinct as they greet the rising sun in the morning. Therefore, advice this year is to rise early to accomplish your goals and act on your first impulses. There can be danger in second-guessing yourself or maybe overanalyzing. It is lucky to have some sort of symbol or visual representation of a rooster in your home this year, which is why I have this guy over here. Because success and self-reliance comes easily to roosters, this is a great year to demonstrate leadership and gain real progress in what you want to achieve. So this brings me to my last point I want to make before I start in on your readings. 2017 numerologically adds up to a year 1. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 equals 10, and when you reduce the 10 by adding 1 and 0, you end up with 1. This means that no matter what your life path number or your personal year, there are collective beginnings within the human race as we begin a brand new 9-year cycle. The key word for a 1 year is independence. Other meanings are ego, ambition, initiative, and individuality. We will begin to see things that we have never seen before this year. We have already seen shades of the 1 year theme, as well as the monkey and rooster characteristics within the new political climate, but we don't really need to get into that here in this video. What is important to remember is that the New Year energy that commences this month is a year of personal success achieved through diligent perseverance and patience. Like the rooster crows at dawn, it is heralding in a powerful sign of awakening. Happy New Year! Now let's get started with your readings. Capricorn, for your February readings, I'm going to be pulling 4 cards from the Connolly Tarot deck. 1 card for each month, or excuse me, each week of the month. Okay, so I just want to concentrate on the energy for Capricorns. Show me the energy for Capricorns. Okay. First week, second week, third week, and fourth week. Okay, so the shadow card, we have the Devil card, which is about materialism and excess, right? And temptation and the traps of the world, basically. So this is the shadow energy, but what I'm seeing here is a lot of the light that's sort of, dueling this aspect, or I guess showing the opposite of this aspect. Okay, so the first week, it's like you're planning something and you're setting your plans into motion and you're looking at the long run, the long picture. You could be doing something online or, sending out some sort of message online. And a lot of you, I see, there's like an old establishment as well that you may be communicating with or communicating from. Okay. So the second week, I have the High Priestess. She also represents the number 2, okay, since it's the second card in the Major Arcana. And, I think the High Priestess had come up as the indicator card for February for your 2017 tarot readings. So I definitely feel like something significant. I feel like the time of focus is going to be around the second week for you. I feel like this is probably like the card of most importance here. It's really about using your intuition and really being smart. You're not revealing everything here. And I feel like that's a good thing because you're sending out just enough information to really get back what you need, but you're not giving it all away. You're not revealing it all. The High Priestess definitely uses her intuition. She's very in tune with the cycles of nature and timing, right? So she knows instinctively on when to act. Okay, she has this sense of maturity and wisdom, and it's a powerful energy. Okay, there's definitely no denying that. There must be something to do with the moon in your chart as well, the second week. Maybe the new moon energies. Or the full moon. I have to check my calendar. Either way, the High Priestess is coming up for the second week. Then the Hierophant. Okay, so this is all about tradition and order. And, I was getting this sort of like old establishment here in this picture and communicating with them. And maybe there's some sort of, something going on behind the scenes with the High Priestess. And here with the Hierophant, it's like, well, things are sort of coming out into view. But this is a very dignified depiction of the High Priestess, or well, I said the High Priestess, but the Hierophant is the High Priest. So it's the counterpart. It could be a very spiritual union. And I'm getting that here. With the 2 is like a back and forth. The High Priestess is a spiritual woman. The High Priestess is a spiritual man. He's all about tradition and order. So there is something to do with this energy here between the High Priestess and the Hierophant. This is like some sort of religious leader, could actually be a priest. You know, this is a card of marriage as well, although the High Priestess doesn't get married. She's like married to God in some sense, or married to the temple. But I'm also seeing like rites of passage, like very important old rites of passage. It could be some sort of esoteric thing that you're studying online as well. Something old. Okay. So then the last week we have the Temperance card, which is blending things together. It's finding the right balance and the right mixture here. And this feels like it's opposite, but equal. And they're very complementary, especially with the High Priestess and the Hierophant. There's some sort of back and forth between this, you know, spiritual woman and spiritual man. I'm just getting that there's like metaphysics or some sort of deep connection with God here, goddess, and maybe a balance of both, the supreme feminine and the supreme masculine. A lot of the times, I'm just going to sort of go off on a brief tangent here. A lot of the times, like the Hierophant is like the old traditions and it's very masculine dominated. It's a hierarchy. And, you know, this would be like, you know, the male-dominated religions of the world. So there's like God and there's no female. So this would be, I'm not even going to go into examples because I don't want to offend anyone, but you get the picture. Then the High Priestess is like sort of like the occultic, like feminine, like the goddess energy, where there's like a suppression of the Godhead as well. So here you have like circles of women and there's no hierarchy, and you know, you have the goddess, but there's not much mention of God. So I see here that there is like a nice equal balance of both, and recognizing like we both have cosmic parents. There is a god and there is a goddess, and there's not one or over the other, and neither have more importance than the other. They have, you know, a special role. So I guess that's what I'm seeing for this card as well. And I feel like that is sort of helping you rise above the snares of the world and getting sort of trapped in this illusion of materialism, of, you know, of temptation and all of that. I see some of you really deepening sort of spiritual bond this month, either with yourself or with, you know, the universe, within some sort of group, some sort of old group. I see this happening. It's a very likely outcome for you this month, and that would be beneficial as well. Okay, so I want to go ahead and pull an Angel Tarot card for some advice for the Capricorns, the month of February. Okay, it's release. The end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. Okay, a lot of you are going to be moving on to something new. You're going to be studying some sort of new spiritual discipline. See, it's spiritual transformation. I'm really resonating with that. Why is it important to study other religions or other ritual practices? Because it makes us well-rounded people. Okay. All right, so I haven't done this before, but I thought it would be fun to do. Using the Gypsy fortune cards for these readings. I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 cards from this deck just as an additional message for you. Okay. I think this is funny. I actually meant to make this one the bottom card. So, alright. So, here you have, it's the card of the pig, right? And this is representing or corresponding to the World card in the tarot. This is about success and completion. So here you have the pig, which is like the mundane, tedious day-to-day rituals where we're sort of stuck in these flesh bodies, these flesh suits. But ultimately we are more than just our bodies. We are spirit. And having some sort of knowledge of transcending just, you know, the mundane dreariness of the world and the lessons and everything. This is what this is saying, is like you are eternal. You are an eternal being, and you're going to be recognizing that this month. Again, you have some sort of communication here. You're reading something. You're reading about something spiritual. It's all really coming together quite nicely. And then you have the sun, which is the masculine archetype. This is a very positive, outwardly expressive external energy. The sun is like shining warmth on everything. There is a saying within the Gypsy fortunes that the sun shines on mud, but it doesn't touch the mud. It doesn't become the mud. Pigs roll around in the mud. We roll around in the dirt of the material world here. But ultimately we are spirit. You see that there is some sort of connection here with the image of the soul being up here in the sky, and then the grass sort of like grazing sort of the earthly plane. And then there's some sort of communication with the other side, with spirit. You have like an ability to do this month, to really receive some powerful, transformative spiritual awakening or message. Shadow card is the moon. Okay, so this is illusion, hidden things. It's also the feminine aspect. It's the feminine archetype, which is so funny that this came out this way, because the High Priestess, you have the moon, and I did mention something about like a full moon or a new moon in your chart. And this is really about like psychic awareness and like heightened awareness, being fine-tuned into what spirit is telling you. And here you have the Hierophant, which is the masculine counterpart of the High Priestess, as being the sun. So here we have the sun and the moon, the Hierophant and the High Priestess. Okay, I wanted to actually share with you what the meaning, there's a Gypsy message of wisdom here with the meaning for the moon, and it says, the message is, the darkest hour is that before dawn. All right, Capricorn. This was your message for February readings. Thank you so much for liking and sharing my videos, and for subscribing to my channel. And I will see you in the next videos.